Alright guys, so my customer doing this yard over here. I'm about to at the next yard, maybe I'll show y'all some footage with the bagger, but my customer it's got spider webs all over. He hasn't touched it in many years. I dumped the bad gas out, I put new gas in. It's the customer's trimmer, and he wondered if I could, he was gonna just give it to me, but I'm like, hey, you might need it in case you want to blow off driveway in between visits when I'm here and stuff. And he was like, yeah, you're right. It's like, I'll put some of my good high quality gas in there, see if we can get it running. So I don't know guys, we got a 50-50 shot. It smelled bad when I opened up that cap though, and I dumped the old gas out and pushed the primer bowl, got as much of the old gas out as I could, dumped it out, put some of my gas in there. So let's see if we can get it going. I don't know. Cross your fingers, right? As you can see, it seems fine. I don't know if it'll let it go to the highest rev point with that blower attachment on. I used to have this blower attachment actually, and I don't know that it will let the engine go all the way up, so I think it might be just fine. The good thing is it had barely no gas in it of the old gas, so maybe that was a good thing, but it seems to be running all right. I'm gonna bring it back down there and put it in this garage, I guess. I'll catch up with y'all at the next yard. We'll try out that bagger. I gotta see if I can charge up the GoPro. Alright guys, so here's what happened with the weed eater. He has that blower KM attachment, as you've seen. And so here's why I think it started right up, which, you know, I kind of full throttled it, choked. You know, I know little tricks, because I've been running the Stihl products for my whole life, you know, until recent, in the last few years, started trying other things. But my dad, you know, always ran the Stihl stuff forever. He used to run the old gray Echoes and then Stihl. But anyway, so like we had that same engine, we had that same residential weed eater, and spent many years, you know, using it every day, that type of engine. And I had one of those blowers back in the day too, one of those KM blowers. They work pretty good, actually. But anyway, so he had it stored straight up in his garage, and you know that the seal on that cap is kind of old, so cap leaks a little bit. So I think that actually saved his butt, because I think he had it stored straight up, and so all the gas like went down to the cap. So you know, that kind of kept it away from the fuel filter and everything, you know. And so I think it leaked, and so I think basically most all the bad gas leaked right out of the thing, out of the tank, you know, over time. So that's why I think it started up. So I think you know, it basically didn't have hardly any bad gas in it. I mean, it had a little bit. Man, bad gas smells horrible. Like I still smell it. I can just smell it on me, and oh man, got on my hands and stuff. I mean, it's like brown. I mean, it's like bad. I told him, but man, it runs great. Oh, and I took because I was wondering, like, you know, maybe it doesn't let it go to the high RPMs because, you know, with the blower on, and I was correct. While I was running, I pulled the blower part off, you know, just like with no attachment on it, and cranked it up, and it went straight to the high RPMs. So that was good, you know, so that worked great. Then I put it back on, and so he should be good to go now. I told him, like, you know, from now on, use like the Moto Mix Stihl or the True Fuel from Home Depot or whatever, you know, that's in that can that has no ethanol or anything. because he hardly ever uses it. And if he wants to just pull it out and blow off the driveway in between when I come or something, because literally, you know, right now, like 3 hours from now, I just cleaned up his whole yard, driveway, everything. 3 hours from now, you know, the leaves will be back on the driveway again. So he actually can use it. So I pulled it off, tested it, went straight to high RPM. It's actually good I pulled it off and did that, so I got it kind of cleaned out, let it rev all the way up, and it cleaned out. And so, man, now he should be good to go. Oh, I pulled it off and I put it back on. If I had it back in good and it grinded a little bit, you know, which I've done that 100 times with my Stihls too, but so I guess especially with that model, make sure you turn it off before you put it back. But I put it all back and it, you know, works great. So he was super happy I got it, because he was like, man, this thing don't run, I'm just gonna give it to you. He was just gonna give it to me, you know, that kind of thing. But I'm like, man, maybe if I can get it running, you know, you could use it at your house, you know, in between services or whatever. And he's like, well, I don't know if we can get it running, you know, all that. But we got it running, man. It's working great. All right, so over here at this yard, I'm gonna quit